Hi there, hope all is awesome with you. Today I have a great dynamic hand technique exercise that you can use to, of course, develop your dynamical technique with your hands, but at the same time develop and enhance your rhythmic vocabulary when it comes to polyrhythms and all-time signatures. So, oftentimes when we do technical exercises, we just zone in on that and totally forget about the mental aspects of drumming. And there's so much to learn there. And when we kind of blend in those parts as well, the mental with the technical, then we always stay focused and we challenge ourselves in not just technical ways, but in mental ways. So here's an exercise that I love to do. I simply mix different groupings of notes, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 7 we are going to do today. And we are going to play these groupings always in triplets, 8-note triplets. So let's start this by breaking it down very easy, very simply. So we're going to play a 2-note grouping is simply one accent, one ghost note, and then repeated. And we are going to play all these exercises as unison strokes. Okay? So no flam involved whatsoever. So the 2-note grouping. The 3-note grouping. So accent on the first stroke, 2 ghost notes. The 4-note grouping, accent on the first stroke and then 3 ghost notes. And the 5, you can of course pick whatever rhythm you like to practice, but for now we're just going to play the 5s as following. We're going to start with an accent, play ghost note, accent, and then 2 ghost notes. So, a little bit faster so you can hear the melody. And the 7s, we're going to play them accent, ghost note, accent, ghost note, accent, ghost note, ghost note. Makes up 7 strokes, and we're just going to repeat that. Now here comes the challenge. If you're uncomfortable with playing that, just practice that in the beginning, of course. Both hands together, first the 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, and 7s. I'm going to play the 3-note grouping as an ostinato. Let's start with, the left hand can play the ostinato for now. It's going to play like this. The quarter notes is at the accents right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the other hand, the right hand, is going to go through these groupings on top of that. So let's start. This is the foundation now. And the 2-note grouping. And as you can hear there, if I remove the ghost notes, there's a polyrhythm. 3 against 2. So if I play the exercise first and then remove the ghost notes, you can hear the polyrhythm against each other. It's a 3-note grouping, then I play the 2-note grouping with right hand. As you can hear, this is an awesome way for you to develop the feeling of the subdivisions. I think this is a great logical way to learn polyrhythms because you hear every subdivision that makes up the polyrhythms. So let's move on to 3 against 4. Got the 3 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the 5s. And the 7s. So after I can do this with my left hand playing the ostinato, I do it with my right hand. Playing the 3 parts. So the right hand plays the ostinato now and the left hand goes through the other groupings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 5, and 7. And we could of course have a 6-note grouping, but you know, the 3-note grouping and the 6-note grouping, it's kind of the same thing, just double the length of it. And of course it's the same with the 2-note grouping and 4-note grouping. But I just think that it's such an essential part to learn to play every other stroke as accents. So I wanted it to be a part of this exercise. But of course you can make up any pattern in 6. So this is really a game of numbers. Throwing numbers together and mixing them up so you can challenge your technical abilities as well as your mental ones. And the thing is, if you practice like this, time will fly. You know, you're sitting there. Because you're enjoying yourself, you're challenging your mind, your brain. So it's not just a physical thing. And I think we often miss that, a lot of us. So the next step I would do is actually to take all of these exercises. Let's take the 3 against 2 one. Now I learned it both with the left hand playing the ostinato and the right hand playing the ostinato. Now I love to do this thing where I just switch them without stopping. So if I play the ostinato, the 3-note ostinato with the left hand and the 2 with the right hand, then without stopping I switch. So the right hand plays the 3 part and the left hand plays the 2 part. Like this. Now the left hand plays 3. And switching. Both of 3 now. 2 with the right hand. And I like to do that with all these groupings. Let's take 3 against 5. And 7. If you want to challenge yourself even more, I would suggest that you take an odd time signature that you're not comfortable with, or want to be a little more comfortable with, maybe. Let's take 5, for example. If I play the 3 against 7 exercise, but I count it in 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you can really challenge yourself, and it's impossible for you to just doze off into thinking about what you will eat later that night. In the beginning, I would recommend that you split your hands up between 2 surfaces. If you don't have a multi-level pad like I do here, just put a towel on one side and it will sound different than the other side. And that way you can really get your pattern recognition in place, because it's much easier to learn patterns when you hear distinct sound differences. But after you have learned it that way, try to challenge yourself by playing on the same surface. And this way, on a pad, you will hear exactly where you go wrong. For example, let me take this quite bouncy surface so you really hear what's going on. If I were to play a flam in there, it would stand out like crazy, because it's the exact same frequencies. So that's an idea you can take whatever you are practicing on the drums. If you want to check out if your limbs are playing exactly together, play on surfaces where the frequencies are in the same range. For example, it's very hard to hear if you're exactly at the same time with your kick drum and cymbal. But if you play, let's take my ride cymbal and hi-hat, if I play a hand exercise between those 2 surfaces, I will really hear when I'm flamming and when I'm not. So that's just another advice for you. I hope you dig it. You can of course expand these exercises in so many ways. You know, take your, for example, subdivisions that you find hard, practicing those, and you can take time signatures that you find hard, practicing those. So, and of course you can raise the tempo to a tempo that really pushes yourself. So have a lot of fun with these, and if you want more drum lessons like this, don't forget to subscribe. And if you want even more drum lessons and more in detailed drum lessons, be sure to check out my online drum lesson site, richardondrums.com. That's it for this lesson. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon.